I was trying to explain to you visually that I needed to just take a quick whizzer.
Okay, a whizzo. Don't take your ears with you into the... That's so weird. No, I can still talk to you. Whoa, you need to get that looked at. That's not the right colour. Did you piss on a truck?
Okay, you're going to love this for you. You are going to absolutely love this for you. Because, as you said, this is not the right colour. I was pissing neon green and forgotten that I had just taken an hour ago some vitamin B and some a Barocca, and I was literally thinking that's not the right colour. It was incredible timing. Congratulations! Yeah, wow,
perfect.
All right,
good to see you. You look very chic. That Mo's taking prominence.
Yeah, I just give it a little trimmy le poo. I'm in dog talk mode. I gave it a trim just before because I knew I was seeing you. Nice to look. Nice to look nice.
Presentable. It's a bit. You're approaching Selleck.
I know he's the go-to. I just had this conversation. I know he's the go-to mustache guy. I don't actually rate his mustache a lot, and I think about this quite a lot. But for me, it's
of course you do. Yeah.
Well, because it's an art. And there's lots of different types of mows out there. But the gold standard, the Dalai Lama of mustaches for me.
You pick someone famously no moustache. Yep.
Don't know why I pulled that out, but I love it.
Because he's a paragon. I'm here for the replacement of Mother Teresa as the be all and end all of goodness in the world, and I say rightfully so. Yes. Let's embrace other spiritualities, other good people.
Absolutely. The Dalai Lama
is... You are the Pope John Paul II of great moustaches.
By the way, I don't think the Dalai Lama is a pentagon, but up to you. But
I think you mean paragon. just so we don't get too far.
That was the joke. Okay, I know you had a migraine before, but would you keep up, dude? Okay.
Okay, I'll give myself a note.
You get one migraine card. Okay. And you get two.
You played it. You played my migraine card.
That's the fucked up thing about the migraine card. I can play them for you. It's
so far. I don't understand this board game at all.
No. We're lucky that we're not playing the race card game because that one because
neither of us can play that one.
Excuse me. Neither of us?
Okay, sorry. And just to remind everyone who's now wondering, can you clarify which race card you can play?
I can play a bunch of them, but at this point in time, I think I'll play the Ukrainian card.
Ukrainian, okay.
Just because you get more points for it, more bang for your buck at this point in time.
It's better value.
Anyway, as I was saying,
sorry,
the Dalai Lama of moustaches is obviously Dalai.
Yeah, you think about it a lot. Yep,
Daniel Day-Lewis. So I thank you for the Tom Selleck reference comparison. But I'm aiming for a Daniel Day.
Okay, I can see where you're going now. I can see.
Yeah.
You're definitely. It's everything is a cycle. Everything ends up repeating itself, and we are in 80s dad mode again. I can see you sauntering in the backyard with a stubby holder of your own face and that enormous moustache, and I feel like I saw childhood photos of you in that exact backyard. So everything is circular.
I got to tell my mum to stop sending you photos of me as a child. I don't know what you're doing with them. But actually, I do look kind of 80s though, because I'm wearing pants and like sneakers. Got a real Jerry Seinfeld thing going on right here. White trainers. So yeah. All right.
Welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. This is a stop farting through the intros, please. It's really disrespectful. This is a podcast where we talk about the big news that hits our screens every week, and we just, debunk, we decompress, and we disincentivize. Fuck, I lost it. I just needed one more D.
No, you had me on that one.
We disincentivize misinformation because we're all about truth. Shit, yeah. Sitting through the internet with me, my friend Michael. Hello.
Hello.
And
very nice.
My name is Nick.
Respect.
Hello. How we doing?
So, how are you with pimples?
I don't mind them on me. It's a very rare occurrence. Everyone tells me I have lovely skin, but I don't want to know anything about anyone else ever having them, and I certainly don't want to watch Dr. Pimple Popper or any of that festy, disgusting, horrible shit. Excuse me, no, thank you.
That's what I was getting at, the last bit. It is a weird thing, so I was just in the bathroom an hour ago, and I had this I have a kind of a thing. Like I'm squeamish with most stuff, but I have this weird thing. If I notice, I get a very, very large amount of satisfaction out of getting the Dalai Lama of pimples is like a blackhead that's just like kind of underneath the surface, and then you can squeeze it out, and it's kind of like it's an all day job. You kind of chip away at it over the course of the day, and then it's just like
you can see my face, right? You can see the reaction that this story is having in me, and you're completely unaffected by it. This doesn't mean anything. You will persevere at this line of discussion for as long as it takes you to get this point across, regardless of the fact that I'm clearly loathing every fucking second of it.
Honestly, I've just got your face minimized. I've just got my face on here. Gorgeous. And anyway, it's a blackhead, and you get like a large thing. I know. Okay, all right, we'll move on. But I had one of these on my neck, and you know what the thing? It's a kind of it's a gambling man's game, pimples. And I noticed I noticed like a kind of a hard bump on my neck, and I had a look at it this morning, and I was like, well, I can tell it's gonna go away, but I can tell there's something there. You couldn't even see it on my neck. Those nice ones that they just kind of work quietly in the background.
You can feel it.
You can feel it, but
under the surface,
those ones go a lot away. But then I get it in my head that it's there, and I'm like, I have to free you. I have to release you from my neck, and I got it, and it was beautiful. But the thing about some of those pimples is that if you don't get all of it, and this is the gambling part, if you don't get all of it, then what happens is something that goes from nothing, basically, like visually, goes to something very bad and infected, tomorrow and the days to come, which is what I've done, because I couldn't get the mother in there. I couldn't get the mother load. And so the base is still there, and I fucked up my neck. And in the next few days, it's going to get worse and pussy. And I know, and the thing is, I knew this. I knew it when I did it, and I still couldn't help myself. I still did it. But that's the beauty. That's the beauty, because you're rolling the dice, because sometimes you get a great blackhead out of there. But sometimes you get a blackhead and you work on it, man. Like you get in there and you toil. You toil. And sometimes it doesn't work out. And what have you gained? You've gained nothing. What have you lost? You've lost, a weekend of not wearing turtlenecks, because now I have to wear turtlenecks for the next few days, and it's hot. What were we talking about?
But enough talking about Donald Trump and America. Let's move on to something more relevant.
Were you bored with that?
Did you see?
Sorry?
I thought this was all an elaborate metaphor for the state of American democracy, but you just literally had a neck pimple. Is that right?
Imagine do you think I could write that well?
Oh, man. What a depressing week.
Melania looked fantastic.
I do respect her commitment to her character, which is Ice Queen with a cool hat that does the bare minimum required to turn up to anything involving her husband who she hates. I respect that. And long may she suffer the endless agonies of a life anywhere entwined with him. But do I respect, a sartorial choice like that? Absolutely.
I genuinely thought she looked fantastic. And then I jump on the podcast, podcast.com, and people are making fun of her, calling her like a villain or a French cartoon kind of character, which I do get. She had a bit of a Roger Rabbit kind of. Was that what? Roger Rabbit?
Yeah. Or I was going to go almost like a Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Not familiar with Natasha, nor Rocky, nor Bullwinkle. Actually.
Wait, you don't know any of them?
Is one of them a moose?
Yes, Bullwinkle's a moose.
Or is it mice? Mouse.
It's a mouse. Rocky and Bullwinkle. I'm going to...
Moose should be the plural.
I am 100% accurate with my Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I'm not saying you're not. I just don't know who the fuck.
I'm impressed at myself. Like, because I dredged that out of the deep recesses of the brain without any recent references. But she 100. Can you please just look that up for me now and react in real time? Because I feel like I nailed that.
Okay. Oh shit! Yeah, wow, that's so spot on.
I hate you. And you're on camera and everyone can see what you did. You did absolutely nothing. You flailed at a device that was clearly nowhere near you, and then gave the most uninterested phoned-in response. Okay,
I should because it didn't want to do it. Well, imagine your friends. Imagine your friends were Rocky, Bullwinkle, and then who's this? It's Natasha. What the fuck?
Okay, people know who these characters are. So you're this is like when everyone knows a cool band and you're like mocking them. Like Coyote Hurrah or whatever that one was last year, Hiatus Coyote, and you're like, oh, you sound like a real idiot. Well, let me tell you, for those of us in the animated cartoon games, you're sounding like a real piece of work right now.
Fuck, I've ruined my market. I've ruined my boys. I've abandoned my child. Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be this kind of fun.
I thought I was not going to be on fire today, dude, because I was feeling a little...
No, I think I'm absolutely enjoying your energy.
Absolutely killing it. I think the Baraka's kicked in. The vitamin B complex is working its magic through my...
The piss was neon.
Neon, I love... Nothing like a neon piss to wake you up and rethink all of your choices.
Oh boy!
All right, so Melania looked great. Okay, here's my observations. I've got many from the Nog.
I'm sure you do.
From the Norgies, Republicans are way hotter than Democrats. That's my main takeaway. They looked great.
That cannot be true.
How is that not true? Name one hot Democrat.
AOC.
Okay.
Nancy Pelosi.
I forgot that Pelosi poon. Oh, take that out.
We're gonna have to retake all of this. I can't use any of this.
Maybe like an Al. What's his name? Who's the SNL guy?
Sharpton.
Yeah, he's a tasty dish. Anyway,
the SNL guy.
And by Republicans, by the way, I mean just like the broligarchs and their wives. Not the broligarchs themselves, their wives, because they're all kind of hot.
Do you mean actual politicians, or you just mean like the Republican voting people in the room?
I meant just like the people that were present there. They just were.
Sure.
I'm thinking about Jeff Bezos' wife, because it was just, what's going on?
I didn't see Jeff Bezos' wife. Oh, well, it's not going to be very confusing. He's a fucking billionaire.
Well, did you not see the story about this? Because she was wearing like a corset kind of thing, and she was like, had her bra kind of exposed. It was like really hot. And then Mark Zuckerberg
Oh, she was really hot. Oh, yeah.
I just thought.
Yeah,
I just thought you were jerking off. That's what I thought, and that's what it sounded like to the listener. Nick,
you'd know.
You keep forgetting you're gay. You're gay. You silly
damn
goose.
it! I should stop. I like the sketch idea of a guy who keeps accidentally jerking off to women. Has to be told off.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
that's generally good. Write that down.
You're gay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just the supportive dad. No, Nick.
We worked on this. Just a dad who really wanted a gay son.
Yeah.
And has to keep like forcing his straight son to jerk it off to dudes.
Write that down. That's hilarious. That is genuinely fucking funny, bro.
Fucking funny, mate.
Quick.
Nice to have a laugh this day and age.
Anyway, and then but Zuck was Zuckies. Zuckermeister. He was staring at the Jeff Bezos' wife's tam tams.
Really?
Like having a real gawk.
Mark Zuckerberg, I always forget he's married to an Asian woman. Probably loves her quite a lot. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yes, it's correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that was my memory of it.
Wow.
Anyway, moving on to other things.
Anyway, it's not the point. It's just like he's a nerd, and you can't take the nerd out of the boy. And you know, I know that shot's fired to you as well, even though you've spent lots of time in the gym. But I think you can't take the nerd out of the boy, but you can take the boy out of the nerd. I don't know what that means.
I don't think that any of the things you're saying make any sense.
We're on the radio. We're on air here, baby. Okay, I'm trying to spit fire.
Yeah. The Zuckerberg vibe is definitely an interesting mix of clearly technologically minded, savvy, but also like emotionally still like a uni student, like a college student. And I think that's a weird dynamic because now he has so much power and money that he can be the cool guy. You know, he can pay to have
he can't.
power.
He can try. He can try.
That's what I mean. He can pay to have the power, but he can't gain coolness. None of the people can gain coolness.
No, because that's developed in high school or the years just after high school.
I don't even think that's true. I think it just requires self-awareness of some respect. You know,
yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, Facebook
I think people can become cool.
No, you're right. But Facebook was what a hot or not college campus thing. It's like
exactly.
the dorkiest of the dorkiest things that you could do. But it is that, I agree, it's that same energy of like, and even just he has no conviction whatsoever. He goes with the wind. When the wind says we're being progressive societies, me too, and all that stuff, that's what we're doing. Diversity. When the wind sweeps backwards and it's like Trump and free speech, he's like, but he has nothing. He has no spine. He has no riz. I just learned that word, riz.
Oh, today.
Yeah.
Who taught you the word rizzed?
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't tag you.
No. It was who was it? It was Billy Bob. It was something about Billy Bob Thornton, actually.
Billy Bob Thornton taught me the word riz.
No. It was a post about Billy Bob Thornton because you know how he's like such a curmudgeon and he's gross and he's old and he's kind of, I don't know, is he attractive? I don't think so. But then there's this like clip of Angelina when they were dating or married and she's just like all over him and he doesn't even give a fuck. And I was like, that's Riz, baby. It was me commenting.
So you learnt about it by like Virgin Mary style, just like being granted this word out of the ether.
Yeah.
This guy has Riz.
That's
and
right.
You sort of coined it wholesale, independent of culture at large.
Okay, so what I did is I said, that's hashtag Riz, not knowing what it meant. Clicked on the hashtag after I commented, then found out it was a whole thing. And I was like, huh.
Wow, you really are ahead of the ball. That's impressive.
I mean, it's just like a collective consciousness. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. Oh, great minds think alike. To say I think alike or alike doesn't matter. Check the tapes. Genuinely, though, I think of all of them, the least appealing human being has been Elon Musk and continues to be Elon Musk. Irregardless of his genuine unpalatability, he then goes and does a fucking Hail Hitler salute in front of everybody.
Now,
it's horrifying.
Our good friend of the show, David Lee Weber, did want us to talk about this. So you think it was an intentional Sieg Heil, whatever? Is it Sieg Heil?
I think that regardless of what his stated intent was, the gesture, irregardless, was interpreted as a clear Nazi support signal, and that if you were in any way appalled by the mere suggestion that a sincere signal had been misread, you would have come out in every possible form and apologized, explained, and denied. And I think his behavior subsequent to that fairly reasonable accusation has shown none of that, which merely reinforces to me the opinion that he doesn't particularly care if it's read that way.
I agree that he doesn't care. I do. It's an interesting one because there are examples of other politicians doing it, including AOC, like doing that gesture, and no one thinks AOC's doing that, but like a similar gesture. There's a couple of things. I mean, he is kind of a clumsy goof. Like he's not quite doing things correctly. I mean, that's a theory. I'm not saying it makes you do Nazi things, but it's like he's just not pulling something off. But the other thing is it's completely within the realm of possibility that he would troll or hint at something like this. That's totally feasible.
There's no fucking difference between trolling by throwing the fucking like Sieg Heil and doing it legitimately. There's no difference. It doesn't matter. You can't have an ironic detachment from fucking Nazism. Well, if you're doing the thing, you're doing the thing.
Well, I agree. I agree that the outcome is the same, but the intent is not the same. Like I think he's haphazard and he's clumsy and he's not. He doesn't think about the consequences of your reaction and the consequences of his behavior, and he almost gets off on it. He's like, if I do I don't think he thinks, Hitler's, someone who you should be mentored by, but I do think that he likes to stir shit up. That's the difference. But I mean, if you're, it's kind of could be read as a dog whistle to neo-Nazis. And so that outcome is like, oh, the guy standing behind the presidential podium is doing I just did it. No, that was a salute.
No, you did a salute.
Thank you. I love you stepped in there. Yeah, I think the outcome in that sense is the same.
I mean, if you look at the way that Europe covered that story, they're seeing it with far less ambiguity. Yeah. Germany's policy is a salute is a salute is a salute. You did the thing. That's fucking disgraceful. Like there's no leeway. Germany's approach to treating the rise of fascism and Nazism is unequivocal shutdown of anything that approaches the slippery slope of it. Like their policy is never again, and you don't get to joke, you don't get to like half-ass it, you don't do ironic detachment. It is never acceptable, and that is the way that it was read over there. Furthermore,
Denmark,
I don't think it's a question of reading it as a dog whistle if the fucking white nationalist right wing of America responds to it exactly as it would as if it was sincere. They fucking ate it up. Yes, they ate it up. And if it's being read that way, then it is done it's done the job, right? Regardless of whether it was, quote, sincere or insincere, you did the thing and they all fucking loved it. So, I don't think that deserves any generosity as towards his intent. And then finally, there's been previous indication. He went on fucking SNL and he flashed the white, whatever that, I don't even know what the gesture is called, like the finger gesture thing. You can go look up the video of him on, that one. What do you call it? I don't know. Like it used to be the fucking look at this and I'll punch you in the shoulder thing when I was at high school.
Yeah, look at the donut.
But I think these days it's slightly more sinister. But he did that on fucking SNL, 4 years ago. Yeah, he's been flashing these signals again. Maybe he is a troll. Maybe he's, so immune to consequence that the only thing that gets his rocks off is getting hate directed at him and then just carelessly surfing through it anyway because nothing matters to him. Maybe that's how he, gets his rocks off. But it doesn't fucking matter. It's not acceptable.
I mean, I'm not arguing. Look, I'm not defending Elon when I say this. I'm just, I think that there's a part of me that thinks like, okay, if he is trying to if the intention is to troll, like, could he does have this plausible deniability kind of thing with that action, and I'm not sure if he's capable of pulling that off. So I'm just talking about his intention here. I'm not sure if he's capable of pulling off plausible, like doing it just under enough to explicit Heil Hitler kind of thing, without it kind of really getting him super duper cancelled. I'm not sure if he's that coordinated either. So, and I agree. Look, if he's not going to be the type of guy that even if he had zero intention of doing this in that way, and he had a pure intention of saying thank you, he's not going to be the type of guy that's going to apologize and go out and say, "Hey, I absolutely." That's not him. So I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at. Like, if he was a politician, he would.
I'm not expecting an apology. But even, public figures accused of fucking Nazi imagery have certain levels of self-respect to want to at least put some distance between them and the accusation, right? Like like this is a guy who spends 8 hours a day responding to absolute nobodies on X, just like brain rotting himself with complete bullshit. And so there's not like he doesn't have a platform or a willingness to respond to literally anything else. So I don't think it's beyond him to it.
It's all fuel. Like, when he sees his name, when he's part of the thing, like, it's just this. It's ego. It's just like I think he just probably likes being talked about, even if it's bad, because there's a faction of. I hate to break it to you, Nick. Since you left Twitter, it's gone quite right wing, I would say.
It's
gone decidedly right wing.
Yeah.
So I think there's a quite and I actually did check Twitter to see what he would post, what he was posting about it, to see if that would give some indication of what his intent was. And he hasn't commented on it, but the things that he has been reposting have been kind of things that I would expect from what he's posting on Twitter, what he's reposting on Twitter. It would seem to me that he didn't mean to do it. He didn't have that intention at all. And because the things that he's reposting are things like this is, other people have done this action and things like that. The hard evidence like that.
Oh, I don't know. I find it so.
We can
hard.
move away from intention and whatever, because I agree that it's less important. What the intention was, I guess.
I mean, it's just I've never seen him do that gesture in any other context. Like, it's not like it's a go-to move for him. It's a very weird thing to do. I think the people close to him, like his daughter, was suitably appalled and was actively saying, you got to call a spade, and that this is completely believable from her experience. But
I mean, if you put it next to it's
a legitimate Hitler. It's
it looks
one for one.
Very,
It's one for one.
A lot of people on Nick calling it a Roman salute now. So
yeah,
you're dead naming. You're dead naming.
Oh God. I've been off the Elon Musk train for a long time now, and I'm tired of seeing all this unwillingness to just acknowledge that he's a giant piece of shit that shouldn't be given these kind of platforms.
Well, honestly, look, I hate to give it to you, but it is kind of weird. A couple of these guys, like I've backed a few. Well, I mean, Elon, I didn't really back, but like kind of in jest. But I've backed a few real dogs, haven't I? Like Jordan Peterson, like they just like Elon. I mean, they have turned out to be really, really shit guys.
You were a huge Dharma guy as well for a long time, and I always said we already know what he did. You don't have to back Dharma so much. And you kept saying, "quote I reckon that it was all a scam," and I said, "I don't think there's evidence for that, Michael." But you stuck by Dharma long past when most people did.
I did, but now I'm more of a Greg guy. That's one of the weirdest jokes I've ever made.
That's genuinely a good joke, though. I really enjoyed that.
That was literally what popped into my head when you said Dharma. I was like, Dharma and Greg? I didn't think of Jeffrey.
Oh, fuck. That did make me laugh. That is possibly the most distance between cultural references that I think we could have got to from the Elon Musk presidential Nazism salute to 1990s sitcom Dharma and Greg in literally 2 sentences.
Which, by the way, I've never seen. Don't know anything about that show. Don't even know who's in it. Just know the name.
Yeah.
Now back to Mark Zuckerberg's tits.
Yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, I don't know. How are you feeling about what's to come? Where's your political tolerance at? Your energy levels? Where are you at?
Well, I'm very optimistic. I'm glad it's now the Gulf of America. I think that's a great move. The Panama Canal is now the Boston Canal. The Boston Canal, I think.
Do you think he's genuinely only interested in the Gulf of Mexico because it sounds like golf and he likes golf?
You know what? Okay, I'm gonna say. Okay, so this is what I've said before. When Trump got elected, I felt I didn't have a visceral emotional reaction. I'm not afraid for the world. I mean, I guess I am if I think about it, but I just try not to think.
Okay.
But
very revealing statements.
I'm about to make a great point. But what I think is kind of exciting about Trump, and probably what got him elected is this kind of air of excitement that people have, as ignorant as it may turn out to be, is that, you know, with the things like we're gonna fucking buy Greenland and we're gonna like he's really thinking outside the box, you know, and I think it's like exciting. It's like can't do that.
What a fucking euphemism.
I think I'm onto something here. Like I think he taps into this like, okay, I'm outside of the political sphere. I'm not a career politician, that kind of thing. I'm breaking the mold. You know, I think he does tap into that.
Yeah.
And I think like things like I'm going to buy Greenland, or I'm going to rename it the Gulf of Mexico, or we're going to reclaim the Panama Canal. I think that just like, it's like, oh, you can't do that, you silly. Oh, can you? I don't know. Have we thought about, like, I think it kind of taps into this. I feel it like it's kind of exciting. I mean, he's probably not going to fulfill on any of these, but it's like, it's kind of like, I'm doing crazy shit, and some of it's probably, maybe it would be kind of cool if he bought Greenland. I don't know.
Why would that be? Well, that makes no sense. What does that mean?
But Greenland was owned by America at one point, or they sold it back to Denmark at one point, because it is a strategic kind of thing. I've gone on a deep dive on this, by the
way. I cannot deny
a strategic
that he
military
acts,
base for America being
yes,
like a
but it's
halfway
a sovereign.
point between them and Europe.
You can't buy something that's not for sale. It's a sovereign nation. It doesn't.
The art of the deal. You obviously haven't listened or read it.
They definitely. I think the
Green's.
I want to say president
name your price, big guy.
I think president, prime minister of Greenland, whoever it was, someone came out. Whoever the leader is, came out and said literally, "Fuck off." Like actively,
it was Denmark. Denmark because they owned it. They own Greenland, I think.
I forget how it all works. It is definitely the case that Trump thinks and operates differently to everyone else. I suspect you're right that some small part of the base votes for him because they just kind of want to see what happens. But I think more specifically, people like the policies that he, or the position that he espouses about America's greatness, about immigrants, about economy. He says things that resonate with people, and I don't think those people are going to be satisfied solely with chaos. I don't think they're pure anarchists. I think they have actual issues that they want attention on, and they want to feel seen and helped. And I don't think that Trump necessarily has it all together to be able to achieve those things either. But no. The way that he acts being so chaotic, like the TikTok ban thing, right? So he came in and he, made these statements where it's like, America's the way it's gonna work is we're gonna take 50% ownership over the thing, and I'm delaying this thing to 75 days. All of this is kind of performative, but it's also ignorant because it's just not how you can't executive order a way out of a law that's passed. All of these companies that are reinstating the service, like Oracle and everything, they're acting on his assurance that they won't be prosecuted for breaking the law. But it is breaking the law to have it live again, and that's a risk that they're taking financially based on a guy who famously doesn't stick to his word. He years ago was advocating for the TikTok ban and has now come back to say that he wants it back. So, why you would risk anything based on his word, I have no idea.
Well, first of all, the TikTok ban, that was handballed to the Trump administration from Biden. They didn't want to touch it. They just handballed it to them, which is why
Biden, Trump's first presidency predates Biden.
No, I mean the TikTok ban was put into motion by the Biden campaign, by the Biden administration, and then they punted it to Trump. They said, "You deal with this." Okay, what do you want?
This is not how the law works. Okay, so this is the chronology of what happened. Trump, in his first term, advocated for a TikTok ban. It goes through Congress. Congress enacts the law, which happened to be during the Biden administration. Biden leaves office, and now it's Trump's problem. But that doesn't mean that Biden handballed the thing to Trump. Trump 180'd on his original policy. Trump agreed with the thing that was enacted. It's actually incredibly bipartisan. It was a hugely easy law to pass through Congress. Yes, now it's up to him to decide whether he tries to advocate for repealing it. But the law's on the books.
So it's just a pause that's happening right now, right?
So what happened was...
They put a 90-day pause.
Yeah, so what happened was they passed a law which said that TikTok can keep operating, but it cannot continue to be operated by a Chinese owner. So you have to sell it by this date, otherwise it can no longer operate in America. TikTok, ByteDance didn't want to do that. So it hit the deadline and then it became banned. And all of the tech companies whose infrastructure is relied on to send the app around, you can't get it off the App Store on the Google Play Store, this kind of thing. The content's hosted on servers by Oracle and these kind of places. All of it was shut down because the fines associated with it were $5,000 or something per user. The literal fees are trillions of dollars. None of these companies are like, well, fuck, I want to take a $1 trillion risk that I won't be prosecuted by the Justice Department for breaching this law. So it all disappeared. Built into the act was a 90-day delay window where the president could enable that to be deferred for a set period of time. That's not repealing the law. It's very unlikely to be repealed because it passed like 300 to 80 or something, top to bottom, very bipartisan, very popular. So all Trump can do is just make a song and dance and then say weird things like the US is going to own half of it and other nonsense that doesn't really make any technical or business or political sense.
Right. But it was, even what I'm not on TikTok. By the way, bad news for us, for our Afghani fans of Decade of the Deep Neck. Terrible news for us.
Again, you misunderstood because it's fine around the world. It's in Afghanistan. Afghanistan isn't America. TikTok still exists everywhere.
I forget. I need to stop doing that bad impression. But even like it just speaks to all these. This is the icky thing about all these Zuckies and the Bezos and the Muskies. Like everyone bowing down and kissing the ring. What was that?
Cookie.
Tim
Cook. It just sounded nice. Tim Cook. Apple.
I thought you were just hungry.
Cookie. That's why I said it, because it sounded good. Anyway, continue.
That the message that they put up, but by the way, before Trump had any presidential power, was we're reinstating TikTok thanks to President Trump. It was very weird. It's like, did you see any of that?
Oh, 100%. Like, yeah. The messaging was like, thanks to our great and glorious leader, President Trump, you now have TikTok again. Hallelujah, so obsessive.
Yeah, it sounded like something that would be said about Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
It had that real kind of like our blessed leader kind of vibe.
100%.
And I read an article that was kind of positing that this was all kind of a performance that Trump has orchestrated, because and kind of a wonder stroke of marketing. It's like, we're going to shut it down for 12 hours or 1 hour or 2. I don't even know what it was, but then come up with a message saying, all right, tying in with the handover of presidential power in the US, thanks to President Trump, he's back in. And this writer, I can't remember the article. I got to send it to you. I actually meant to send it to you. They were saying this is not outside of the realm of possibility that Trump orchestrated this brief shutdown, and then, look, I'm here to save the day to all you sexy teens out there.
As appealing as that is, it doesn't make any sense. That's not the date was set in the law. The shutdown is slightly, I suppose, facilitated by the fact that he came out and said, I will not get the Justice Department to prosecute anyone under this law, which then encouraged the tech companies who hosted the content in America to put it back online. But they're taking an enormous financial risk that, this presidency may not prosecute them for it, but subsequent Justice Departments could. Trump could change his mind and still could. They are enormously risky, and that's why
he will.
It's like legitimately possible.
He'll go viral for something he doesn't like.
Yeah,
shut it down.
Yeah, but it's still not available in the App Store and the Google Store. You can't re-download it. You can't do anything like that, because Apple and Google, who legitimately conservative in the way that they would behave when it comes to the law, like they don't take risks like that. They're not having a bar of it, despite whatever the president's saying. everyone in those companies is going, no, we can't. It's the law right now. We can't serve this to our users. So it's gone.
Well, Nick, stop checking and read a book, mate. Go for a walk.
Yeah. I also
Where's TikTok on the App Store again?
Yeah. I just bring back Vine. That's all I want. Now, speaking of, I don't really have a segue there. Speaking of last week's episode and speaking of foreign nations and speaking of pronunciations, I have a little bit of feedback here. You might recall, Michael, that there was a little bit of a tete-a-tete between us when it came to the pronunciation of Moet and Valet. And got to say, the audience extremely on my side. Got dozens of words of support from people.
One person.
From one person who wrote a message.
I got dozens of words coming at us, firing at our inbox.
You got
it. Cannons.
You got it.
Cannons of words.
And it was from our friend Ben, who said that the discussion about Moet and Valet brought to mind a concept which was kind of interesting, and he shared it with me, called hyperforeignisms. I'm going to guess you have no idea what this is. I
didn't even know what Tetris
is.
Whatever you said
it's that
before.
game where the bars join.
I don't even know what that means, so I feel like I'm going to be wrong here.
So a hyperforeignism is a correction where a speaker identifies an inaccurate pattern in a loan word from a foreign language and then applies it to other loan words. So they mispronounce words based on what they think a foreign word should sound like. So Moet, people say Moe because they think it's French and it ends with the ET, and the T is often silent, or the last letter is silent in French, so they say Moe. That's wrong. It's Dutch, it's Moet. Anyway, so that is an example of a hyperforeignism. And these led me down a little bit of a rabbit hole of some other examples, which I found quite interesting. So,
this is fun. I've got some on the top of my head.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Fur,
but that is pronounced correct.
Right, but when I went to Vietnam and I said, "Can I get a pho?" and they were like, "What?" But not that wasn't an Asian accent. That was just like, what? Yeah, that's
like
what? What are you talking about, bro?
What?
That wasn't an accent.
I don't think that was any better than what you did.
It was right. I went to one.
It was just a very white, confused woman.
No, but when I said pho, they were like, maybe that's probably just them going, oh, when white people come in here asking for the brothy, noodly dishy, they're going pho.
Yeah, so they can't possibly mean pho because it's pronounced pho in English.
So they're assuming
you don't know. Yeah,
it's related.
Yeah, well, this is an example here. So in Spanish, you have words like piñata and jalapeno with the round, rolled N. And when it comes to habanero, they say habanero, assuming it's, the similar thing, but it's habanero, that's an example of it. The other one, the French way, is the silent T. So the Colbert Report, that's a parody of the kind of mispronunciations that people would apply to things for class, for cachet. Another good example. Target, calling it target to sound fancy. But here's another few. Parmesan cheese. People will say it as Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Probably because they're getting Parmesan, yeah. People getting confused with Parmigiano, which is an Italian word for the cheese, but Parmesan is pronounced as Parmesan.
People from Paris are called Parmesians.
Yeah, you've got it right. This was an interesting one that I just checked with KC before I came in here, and which Ben had brought up. It's the pronunciation of Beijing. So I'm going to butcher the proper Mandarin pronunciation, but people commonly say that the J like a zh, right? Beijing, almost like a ZH, a zh. But it is more closely Beijing with a hard J like a jump or a jog. I asked Kate at C to pronounce it for me, and he was a bit closer to almost like a Beijing, but I'm terrible at it, so I'm not going to get close really. But yeah, Beijing, not Beijing. Interesting.
I got a fun fact related to this.
Please.
That Peking duck.
Yeah.
Is actually I guess it is a mistranslation, but basically Peking duck is meant to be Beijing duck.
I think I've heard this.
During the Ming dynasty or whatever, I think there was monasteries are involved, but when they said this is Beijing duck, Beijing,
yeah,
Beijing duck,
yeah.
Beijing duck, they heard Peking.
Yeah.
So in the West, it got known as Peking duck.
Yeah.
Because it's just a mishearing.
Mishear, and the pronunciation, like the equivalent of the spelling and the sounds was misheard. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of other examples here that I won't go into. But one of the other ones here, like people will sometimes say a baristo for like a male barista, but barista is actually like gender neutral in Italian and Spanish. Yeah, I'll skip the rest of them here, but there's plenty of other examples. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting sort of elaboration on what we touched on accidentally.
It's an interesting like social it's a social awkwardness for especially people like us who live in Australia or New Zealand, where we don't really have a cuisine that is attached to us in the same way that Spanish food or Chinese food is, not like a long history of food, and when I think this all the time, like paella. You don't want to overpronounce. Like it's almost like I'm doing like a cost benefit analysis in my head sometimes when I'm thinking like, do I even want to say pho? I don't want. I think I'll sound like an asshole doing that. Or do I want to say paella? Do I want to overemphasize? That seems racist in a way to overdo it.
Well, it's only overdo it if you're doing it wrong, right? Like if you're actually saying it
with
correctly,
hand
though.
Gesticulations. Yeah, and I'm wearing a sombrero, which is not even related. I'm like, I want the paella.
Yeah, and I think that's why they look at you funny in the restaurants.
You can take off the fake moustache. I'm like, oh no, that's real, baby.
Yeah, I think that it's understandable to have some concern. I think as an English native, we lack a lot of context or perhaps understanding of what it's like to be bilingual or to have, perhaps immigrant backgrounds or people attempting to speak to you in ways that are deliberately racist or that kind of thing. And so there might be overlap where your genuine attempts start to feel like the genuine bigotry they might have experienced elsewhere, and that's unintentional, but who knows,
That's a great point, yeah.
So maybe it is impossible for us to fully appreciate that, but I think that if you're attempting sincerely to approximate the correct pronunciation, that you should, or if you're confident that you do know the correct pronunciation, I don't think there's anything to lose from saying it. I don't think we should consign ourselves to inaccuracy out of some sort of misplaced nobility. I don't know. But
I think
what would I know?
This is maybe a hot take, but I think by foreign people I mean, us ordering a foreign dish and trying to overpronounce something in the language. I think people who are behind a counter there, if they are making the food as well, I don't think they give a fuck. And I think if you travel overseas, they don't take it as, they're not thinking about racism in the same way that we are. Like they're not concerned by this. They're like, okay, you're a foreigner trying to pronounce the thing. I mean, imagine it on the other foot. Imagine if you were working behind, you were in a sandwich shop and someone who was was spoke very little English that came from Taiwan, and they were trying to say, I want the sandwich, but then kind of you wouldn't take it as racist if they were just trying to say the words, but they didn't quite get it. No. But you might take it as racist if they had heard someone say, I'll get the, this is going to be better, but like BLT, but then they tried to put like a twang on it, like an Australian kind of twang. Like you might be like, are you just kind of fucking with me?
Yeah.
I can see it from that angle.
Oh, I wonder if it's not even like a twang, if it's like whether you'd feel the same thing about like an Australianism, like call it, the Arvo, or, some sort of like, if you adopt a slang that feels like, not just a pronunciation, but you come really hard on trying to, mate it up, or, do you get what I'm getting at? Like adopting.
I wouldn't come really hard on mating it up, I don't think.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. The one, can I give you one last example here of a hypercorrection, that we do in English? So a hypercorrection that comes up all the time is you and I versus you and me. So when people say you and I, he goes to, if you come to the movies with you and I, something like that, or he goes to the movies with you and I, it's because people are trying to sound fancy or like, pretentious, but it is just you and me. Like that is the correct use of that in that context. So same thing with like dropping a whom in when it shouldn't be a whom, and when you can just use a who, these kind of things. They apply within English as well, not just to foreign languages.
Well, I did one to you before because I know you hate people saying irregardless.
I said irregardless before you said irregardless.
Did you? I was trying to wind you up.
No, I said it, and I thought you were just parroting back what I said.
No, okay.
Yeah, I see it. I incepted it into your brain.
Yeah, glitch.
Oh, anyway. Well, that was a nice little. We ended up in some good places there.
Can I get a toilet pass, please, boss?
Okay, go get that radioactive material out of you, and I'll do the outro. If you've enjoyed this podcast, then thank you so much. And I apologize, because that means that you are connected to the world on a political and cultural level that probably has resulted in some degree of pain, stress, and otherwise discomfort this year so far. So I hope that the time spent with us in your ears has nevertheless helped you kill some time, get a laugh here or there, maybe feel a little bit better. And if it did, then great news. There's more episodes of our podcast that you can go back and listen to anytime you want. It's at deepfort.podbean.com. It's in your podcast feed. There's plenty of episodes now as we come up to episode 250. Oh, God. There is also ways to get in touch with us if you have feedback. You can reach out to us on Instagram. You can send an email to deepfort@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, though maybe not for much longer. You can listen to us on Spotify and rate us there, 5 stars. Same on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to our jingles on SoundCloud if you want. That's just an option. And, of course, you can try to give yourself a little bit of space to feel what you're feeling. And not blame yourself for whatever those feelings may be. Hey, Michael, what's that on the shelf
that time in the bathroom?
Yeah, it disappeared.
Here's to another great year.
It's a Christmas little card there.
Gift from your dad.
Yeah, a picture of Donald Trump with his ear bandage, and it says, "Ears to another good year." That's horrifying that someone decided to make a greeting card out of that, to be honest.
What's horrifying is that it was in Hyde Park.
I know.
It's just a newsagent.
I know.
I cannot believe that it was just there. Anyway,
that's an Australian greeting card. Yeah.
There's one card I'm never throwing away.
What do you say when you go up to the counter with that card? Like, by the way, I hate him, but this is funny. Like, what are you? What do you say?
You say, do you have any freedom cards for Christmas?
You say, I'm not going to pay you for this.
No, I love that card. I love that your dad got that for me.
Yeah, that's a nice card. I hadn't seen it before.
It's also hilarious that he got it, probably, I assume, last minute. And he was like, I'll get Mike. Because he was very lovely. Got me
to be clear, he gave
of
all of us that card. So he bought like 15 of them. And yeah, just blanket gave us all one. That has genuinely made you upset. He didn't. It was special. It was just for you.
Yeah. Because I'm the only one who can see who knows the truth. Who knows who's on the right side of history, baby.
I have done enough talking about Trump. Let's move on to something. You have
Ivanka? Where's Ivanka? Where's Jared?
Where is Ivanka? Where are they up to?
Where is Jared?
Hashtag
free Jared.
Yeah. You know what hashtags are now? That's exciting. Do you have a myth? Because I got a tiny myth here.
Dude, don't call it tiny. It's big enough. Michael's moved, and no displeased, riled up, offended, aggrieved, irritated, chagrined, pissed off, put out, resentful, and big, discontented. Michael's moved. Oh, that I didn't mean to say that, but I absolutely loved it. Wow. Dude, I got so many myths, but I also got so many wrecks. But we can fire. Can we fire off some? I know you want to do a blankie, but
yeah, not this episode. It doesn't feel. It's not the energy for it. That's fine.
Right.
I
really need to get these myths. I need to get these riffs out because I'm starting to get too many wrecks and myths.
Okay, I don't have that many wrecks, but go ahead. Yeah. Can I? Do you have any myths, or you just want to wreck?
We got heaps of myths, dude.
Okay.
I've got a myth sandwich.
So cool. I don't
myth
like
salad.
that phrasing. Let's get a
myth muffin.
Let's get a quick myth out the way, then we can get on to burning wrecks.
Quickie myth.
Okay. So you might remember that last episode I was recently back from a road trip, and there's one thing that I forgot to bring up that truly has haunted me ever since and deserves acknowledgement. We all understand the appeal of a potato wedge. You know, one of the purest forms of potato. You know, a nice...
The original potato, I believe.
The original, they actually came wedged, and then we started sticking them together.
Putting them in the ground to repurpose them.
People
the first potato was in a bowl, fried as a wedge. We were like, the Romans were like, how can we make more of this?
Yeah. The point being... We all love them, you know, gently seasoned, a little bit of salt, you know, but there is something
Sweet
missing.
Chili, sour cream.
Interesting you say that, Michael.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, I got lots to say.
Very
so I'm talking a lot.
Very interesting that you bring that up, Michael. And you know what? For once in my life, I agree with you. I do agree with you.
For once in my life, I have someone who needs me.
Don't know that song, but I look forward to Googling it.
The Barocca's really kicking in now.
I ordered some wedges on this road trip, and everyone loves a wedge, but what they really love is a wedge and a dip, right? A little bit of sweet chili, a little bit of sour cream.
A wedge and a dip.
Michael, I've got some bad news for you. Know what was brought out with my bowl of wedges in this road trip? I wish it was ketchup, Michael.
Barbecue sauce.
I wish. You know what was brought out? A chunky tomato relish and aioli. Wedges with a chunky tomato relish and aioli. It had onion in it, Michael. It had onion. It was like a chutney. It was like a chutney and aioli. Those were my dipping options. And frankly, I nearly threw the bowl on the floor. Like that is unacceptable. Wow. That is unacceptable.
My mouth filled up with saliva. I really kind of want to try that. I'm sorry not to back you up, but it sounds delicious.
You cannot be serious right now. I didn't need to go all Mac on you, but you cannot be serious.
Well, I mean, my history might be a little off here, but I believe when the Romans did invent wedges, and they said the same thing. I need a dip, and they brought out sour cream and sweet chili sauce. I believe it was Julius Caesar who said, "What the fuck is? Oh my god!" I might be misremembering the quote there, but
yeah, they said "sweet too, Brute." That's actually a really good joke. That's actually a really good joke.
So good. I love Roman history jokes.
It's actually a really good joke. There's a lot of people appreciating that. Continue.
Yeah. A lot of people.
I reckon. I reckon I genuinely got at least 3 people with that one.
That is so many people, dude. That is. Edit that out. Edit that out.
All right, myth me up. That's my one myth. I have to get it off my chest.
We're gonna break the internet.
We're gonna break records.
Cut that out.
We don't have the technologies to support 3 people laughing.
No more Latin. No more Latin here. Latin? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, but okay. Well, first of all, okay, I agree with you. Wedges. It's so weird that the universal dip for wedges is sour cream and sweet chili sauce. That is so weird. Don't you think?
Why is that so weird?
I mean, it works. It works very well. But like, who? Like, someone in a pub somewhere who's never traveled outside of Australia invented that. I think that's true. I don't think that's an. Do you think that's an Australian Oceania?
Well, we can ask our international listeners. I don't know if I hear much about sweet chili sour cream overseas.
Don't ask KC. Ask KC. No,
well,
but
sweet chili is definitely a thing, right? And it definitely works well on like a spring roll. And like
but it's a different kind of sweet chili.
No, but it's deep
fried.
Sweet
chili sauce is uniquely Australian, New Zealand.
No. I mean, yes, there are different types of chili sauces. I'm not denying that, but I feel like sweet chili is used everywhere.
Yes, but like if you think about like a sweet chili and like a sweet chili fried chicken in Korea, like a gochujang kind of thing, it's got more of an edge. But I'm thinking of a Heinz sweet chili sauce that you get in the supermarket.
I know what sweet chili sauce is. Yeah.
Yes, but I'm saying there's a white.
There's definitely
version,
an Australian
and then
palate.
there's a real version.
Yeah.
And that's what you get with a wedge.
That is what you get with a wedge. But what I'm saying is when it comes to a spring roll, if you go to a pub and you order spring rolls, they'll give you sweet chili sauce. You know, like there's something that complements with a deep fried grease that you have a little bit of the acidity, a little bit of the spice, a little bit of the sticky. I'm saying that it's universal in that context.
I agree, Nikolai.
We cannot spend this much time talking about sweet chili sauce. You have
make
to
the whole
give me a
podcast
myth.
let's record another podcast.
Second myth, when we can't stop talking about sweet chili sauce. Don't you hate it when you're on a podcast and your co-host won't fucking move on because he's had a Barocca?
You just accept that they're different. There's white sweet chili and there's...
I do. I accept that. Please give me a myth or I will kill you.
On this, potato chips as a side for a burger.
As in a crisp?
This.
Oh, I mean, okay.
It's become trendy.
I'll let you
I
finish.
hate it. They think it's cool. I hate it. I can buy crisps.
Are they getting them at the shop or are they making their own?
That's the thing. I don't know. They're not making. No one's making their own.
Because I'll quite happily eat like a potato skin. You know.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like if more Hannibal Lecter.
No, like if like a restaurant has handmade a chip, right? But it's still like a chip, but it's like, oh, this one we've cut in like spherical slices, you know? Like I'm open to that. It just has to be warm and deep fried, you know, do it in whatever shape you want. If you're talking about someone's gone to the shops and bought like a Smith's original and then scattered that on the plate, then yes, I agree. That's terrible. One asterisk, if the...
Asterix.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was a hyperforeignism. If I get a sandwich, a cold sandwich, and the sandwich unexpectedly has a potato crisp on the side, a chip, that's quite a fun delight. I think where the real problem ends up is when we're mixing temperatures, where you've ordered a hot burger and you get a cold chip. I think that's probably unacceptable.
All right. Well, okay. I really thought you. Okay, so first of all, well, okay. I thought you'd back me up on that. So that's annoying.
I did back you up on that.
No,
I literally just said I agree.
Not enough. I wanted emphatic backing up.
Okay.
I hate the concept of it. First of all, I can't tell if you're making the potato crisps in-house. I can't tell that. Why would I tell that? I'd have to be a chip enthusiast.
We have a segment called Chip Chat. We literally devoted probably a cumulative hour of this podcast over the past 11 years to us audibly eating chips on mic and describing the flavor to people. We do this. I have legitimately in my notes here a link that I have had saved for far too long about this quote. This is from December 2023. The secretive world of crisp flavors. It is a 4.5 page long Guardian article about the food scientists who designed the flavorings on crisps and their international variants. One of them here, Thai sweet chili. It all comes full circle. So I'm saying that you should be able to know. You should be able to know.
Well, okay, yeah. It's all an act. It's all an act, okay? Because I'm not sitting around eating Pringles, okay? I'll do it. I'll do it for the content.
Do you want me to send you this link about the crisp flavors? That was really quite interesting.
Please do. My mouth is watering. I'm dying. I haven't had dinner. But I hate the concept because it seems so just like an afterthought. I think that's my issue with it. Okay. Anyway, all right. I got way more myths.
We are I don't have time for Rex in this episode. We're already an hour and 20 in it.
Fine. I'll just post my Rex on Instagram. Okay. When you ask someone for a specific answer, like a time of day, just say, what time are we leaving tomorrow? And they give a vague answer. So what time are we leaving tomorrow? Early. I fucking hate this. And I hope Lauren doesn't listen to this episode because it's very
about someone in particular.
Absolutely. Most of my myths are actually.
Yeah, and she keeps putting chips on the plate next to your burger.
Yeah. I'm like, where are the fries, baby?
Yeah, you got to make these from hand for me.
Do you ever come into contact with this kind of vagality?
Yes, I understand that frustration. I tend to be the time setter, not the time asker, and I think that has come about because I want certainty. But Casey is very we'll go when we go, and it doesn't matter if we're late kind of vibe person. And I am we have said we'll be there at 7, so we need to leave at 6:45. So, let's get ready now kind of person. And we have genuinely had arguments where he's like, oh, you're driving so crazy. I'm like, I'm not driving crazy. We're just late and I'm, frustrated. And I wouldn't drive frustrated if you were, on time when we were going to leave to be leaving. It's like, it doesn't matter. We could be 5 minutes late. And I'm like, 5 minutes late is an offense. And we either have to be there on time or not at all.
So wasn't... Okay, so that was completely just an excuse for you to rant about Casey.
This section is called Michael's Myth.
Same. Well, we're both just ranting about our partner at the end. I love it. We're just maybe that's a new segment. We just I don't think
that's a very healthy segment.
Well, we won't clip it.
Okay, yeah. So they'll never hear it then.
Tupperware.
Tupperware. What miffs you about Tupperware?
No one knows how to store Tupperware.
I agree with this.
This is It's ridiculous. We're going to Mars via Elon and Trump next year. I assume. We can't like Tupperware. Everyone's Tupperware shelf is a mess. Sort it out. Like someone do something. Timu, if you're listening, do something.
It's definitely not going to be Timu fixing the problem.
But no one's Tupperware drawer is organized, right?
Mine is, but it is an endless battle. Like it just
constant.
The lids are missing. Like where do they fit? Why does no one design a Tupperware container that nests in an identical one? So they're always like odd shapes and sticking out. Like you've hit a nerve here.
We need Tupperware that nests.
We need Tupperware that nests. We do. This is not a crazy request.
Zackies.
Elon. Cookie.
Come on.
Cookie. Give me the eye top.
Cookie baby. Trump, if you're listening.
Oh, no.
Cancel Tupperware. I'm sick of it. Anyway, end it there. Just end it there, Nick. I got way more myths, but
that's enough. We'll save them for next time.
I'll get shit on doors. Don't worry about it. Toilet paper.
Oh, everything. No, I don't want spoilers.
No, leave it as a teaser, as a hook.
Oh, tune in next week to find out why Michael doesn't like doors.